Channel 3. Eyewitness News, Southern New England's #1 newscast, with Gayle King, Don Lark and Janet Peckinpaugh, Charlie Bagley's weather, and the people making news at 5.
Hello to you and welcome to Eyewitness News at 5 o'clock. Good news today for more than 100,000 women who were injured by the Dalkon Shield and filed lawsuits. The case is one step closer to settlement. We'll talk to a personal injury lawyer about today's Supreme Court decision. And what's up with Oprah? This time, Gerry Brooks poses the question to Ms. Winfrey last week in New York City, but he let me sit in, nice guy that he is. What about that feud with Roseanne Barr? Gerry gets to the bottom of that one later on. But right now, Don and Janet have our first news at 5 o'clock. It is the latest on the Dalkon Shield. Janet? Gayle, tonight's first news at 5. The way has been cleared for some 100,000 women to collect money for injuries suffered from the Dalkon Shield intrauterine device. The U.S. Supreme Court has refused to hear arguments that the $2.5 billion settlement of the birth control case is not enough. This action also bars future lawsuits against manufacturer A.H. Robbins, and by early next year, the women who filed that suit will begin to receive between $25,000 and $250,000 for their injuries. The Dalkon Shield used in the 70s has been linked to spontaneous abortion, infertility, and even death.
Congress, meanwhile, is investigating government procedures for ensuring the safety of medical devices. And Channel 3's Tom Walker reports testimony today that dozens of children may have died as a result of allegedly faulty infant breathing monitors.
Michael and Corey Davis of Corpus Christi, Texas, told members of Congress the story of their 3-month-old son, born premature and attached to a machine at their home to monitor his breathing. They woke up one morning thinking everything was fine.
But when I turned Michael over, he was white and I knew something was wrong, and the monitor was not sounding any alarm and showed everything was normal, but Michael still was white and did not move. We tried everything we could to save him, but nobody could do anything.
The Davises are suing the breathing monitor's manufacturer. Their attorney says at least 50 other deaths may be connected to malfunctions of the same device. The company, Equitron, says the allegations have not been proven. But congressional investigators say it's an example of how companies making products ranging from sun-tanning lamps to X-ray machines have benefited from lax safety reviews by government regulators.
I think one of the things that really strikes you about this whole business is that the manufacturer didn't think it was necessary to let parents know that there were these problems.
When it comes to potentially life-saving devices, a congressional study says the Food and Drug Administration isn't even aware of most problems or product recalls when they occur. The industry says its record has been good.
I think the fact that you've got so many products used so often to help so many strongly suggests the overall safety of medical devices.
The FDA denies it has looked the other way in assuring the safety of medical devices on the market. The agency says when it has information about defects, it has moved promptly and aggressively. But critics charge the government's early warning system against allegedly dangerous devices has become hazardous to the nation's health. Tom Walker, Channel 3 Eyewitness News, Washington.
And now that's moved out to the east. I'll be moving to the studio with my complete forecast in a minute. But first, let's find out how the traffic is from the Connecticut National Bank Samaritan van and Ken Wall.
Charlie, the only problem we have this afternoon is in Derby, the intersection of Route 34, Main Street, and Olivia Street. We have a water main break and a partial road collapse, and they're rerouting traffic up into the Commodore Hull Bridge to get around that. But throughout the New Haven area, traffic is virtually delay-free. Just a brake check getting across the Quinnipiac River Bridge. Up in Hartford, traffic leaving the city on 91 is delay-free out of the city. You don't bog down till the Upper Windsor exit. Southbound side is just a little sluggish through the service roads, 84 east and westbound. For all practical purposes, delay-free. Reporting live from the Connecticut National Bank Samaritan van, it's Ken Wall with a Channel 3 traffic check.
Thank you, Ken. It's one step closer to a settlement for thousands of women who sued the A.H. Robbins company over the dangerous birth control device that led to sterilization, some say, and infertility for many. The Dalkon Shield we're talking about. We'll talk to a personal injury lawyer when we come back. Stay with us, please. It was a record $2.5 billion settlement, and tonight it appears it won't be much longer before women who were injured by the Dalkon Shield start to collect. The Supreme Court cleared the way today by rejecting a challenge from women who argued that the settlement might not be enough to compensate all of the victims. The A.H. Robbins company marketed the birth control device in the early 70s. It was banned after allegations that it caused infertility, spontaneous abortion, pelvic inflammation, and in some cases death. We are talking about today's Supreme Court ruling with Robert Schluger. He is a personal injury lawyer from Hartford who brought a claim against the A.H. Robbins Company. Welcome to you, Bob Schluger.
Good evening.
Tell me, what was your client's experience with the Dalkon Shield?
My client's experience was, I'd say, a less than severe claim, but her claim had to do with pelvic inflammation and uncontrolled bleeding. I know there are much more severe cases than that are pending, and probably less severe also.
But that is serious. Now, how will this ruling today affect her?
Okay, this ruling will pave the way for approximately 100,000 claimants who have yet to have their matters settled in applying for one of the 4 options available in the bankruptcy reorganization plan. This plan is funded by American Home Products Corporation, which has put in $2.2 billion into the reorganization fund, where the monies will come from.
Well, let me ask you this. How soon, A, will women start to get paid, and how much will they be getting? Does it vary from case to case? Will the money be distributed equally among all the women who have filed claims?
Under Plan A, women have already been paid the scheduled payments. Actually, 78,000 claimants have already been paid under Plan A. Plan A has to do with those women who have the least severe injuries, and they get paid up to a maximum of $725. They don't have to show a lot of proof of that they were injured by use of this product. The other plans B and C, require you to show with medical documentation that you did use the IUD product, Dalkon Shield, as well as that you were injured by it. And those claimants will be paid either according to a payment schedule matched to a specific injury, or under Plan C, they will be paid according to what a group of experts who review each claim individually will determine.
Now, this ruling today bars any future lawsuits against the company. So that means that if you feel you have a problem with the Dalkon Shield, or you had a problem, there's nothing you can do about it now, correct?
Only if you have already made your claim with the bankruptcy court already can you be able to receive any compensation for your injuries.
Yeah, maybe you answered, but I didn't hear you. How soon would women be getting, how soon could they possibly be getting money? Do you know?
Okay. In a matter of weeks, if they select the first option, which is only a minimal payment though. As far as the other options, options 2 and 3, the bankruptcy court has not yet told us how soon it will be, but the bankruptcy trustees have been well in gear as far as they are ready right now to review any claims that come in, and I would say any week now they will be sending out literature to all claimants telling them submit your claims and this is your procedure.
All right. Boy, it sounds confusing, but I mean, at least there is a victory today, some good news for women, but there are still many steps that it would appear that they have to go through. We thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. When we come back, some wet and some mild weather today, but Charlie Bagley says there are cooler temperatures headed right for your house. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
So that's your daughter. Cute. She must be what, 8 months? It must be tough being a parent. Lots of worries, lots of questions. Feeling guilty because you're going back to work, huh? Well, I'm sure you found a great daycare center. No? And your relatives live too far away to help?
This is Deborah Kent. I'll look at news reports to help families stay on their feet. A parent survival kit, starting Wednesday on Eyewitness News Night Beat.
6 o'clock, we'll have a preview of Election 89. Janet? Gayle team coverage on the changing face of leadership as minorities and women challenge tradition in our cities and states. Channel 3's John Daly takes a look at the changing political climate. Washington Bureau Chief Tina Galan looks at the governor's race in Virginia, where the first black governor could be elected and where the issue is not race but abortion. And bouncing back, Channel 3's Denise DeCenzo brings us the touching story of one man who picked himself up and started life again after losing everything, hitting rock bottom. Join Donna me for those stories and more at 6. Looks good. We'll be there. Yeah, Denise said it is very good. She's been working on it. Thank you, Janet. We'll see you. Okay. Charlie Bagley joins us now to bring you up to date on the weather. But I guess if we're going to have rainy weather, it's better to have it on a Monday as opposed to Saturday or Sunday. So,
you know, I mentioned earlier, we only got 2/100 of an inch of rain in downtown Hartford, and that all occurred when I went from the studio over to my car earlier. I got soaked. Just can't do a thing with my hair now or anything else.
It looks fine. Looks fine.
But here's the story. That rain has moved out to the east, Temperature still mild at this time of day, at this time of the year, 57 degrees, the dew point 47. Light southwesterly breeze, and the pressure is dropping a little bit. It's 29.96 inches of mercury at the present time. Okay, here's a shot that was taken earlier today, and those are the famous white ducks of West Patchett, I believe. Beautiful shot, and some will call and say they're not ducks, Charlie. Okay, here's the story on the current temperatures around the area. Here's the story on the current temperatures around the area. It is 59 in Providence, 58 along the Cape area, and here in downtown Hartford right now, 57 out at the airport. Situation as far as clouds go, see these clouds that start down in the Gulf, and they run up to the northeastern states. They've been around all day long. They are starting to push off to the east right now. In fact, to give you two pictures of radar, the one taken at noontime when those light showers were moving towards us in the northeastern states, and 5 hours later, you can see the showers have moved off to the east. We are going to have clearing skies tonight. It's going to be quite nice out tonight for this time of the year to be able to see some stars. It's not going to be too windy, and the situation that we're looking at is nearly calm, nearly clear. A weak ridge of high pressure to the west will be pushing this way, and tomorrow will be off to the east with more clouds coming in. Gayle, here's how the forecast reads. For tonight in southern New England, it's going to be clearing. It'll be cool, 40 to 45, about the normal, a little bit above normal, really. During the day tomorrow, morning sunshine, then those clouds coming in, stopping off right about 60 degrees. Tomorrow night, some more rain and showers coming in. For the middle part of the week, it's going to be wet and soggy, but again, we'll weather it. To you.
Thank you, Charlie. She is the #1 talk show host in the country, but Oprah Winfrey says she's in the middle of a ratings war this month, and she intends to win. Last week, when the Oprah Winfrey Show went on the road to New York, affiliates on the East Coast were offered a chance to sit down and chat with the chat show queen. Here at Channel 3, most of us thought there really wasn't much more the two of us could talk about, but Gerry Brooks saved the day. He offered his services and was kind enough to allow me to sit in. Gerry takes over. When we come back, stay with us, please. They're some of the sexiest men on TV. On the next Oprah Winfrey Show from California.
Tomorrow at 4 on FSB-3.
Welcome back to Eyewitness News at 5. I'm Gerry Brooks at the Grand Bay Hotel in New York City, home away from home for the Oprah Winfrey Show. This week she's in L.A., but last week she was in New York. And it's such a pleasure to welcome my close personal friend Oprah back to Eyewitness News at 5. We are, Oprah. And you know, the question that this whole interview will pose is, can Gayle King just kind of sit back for a few minutes and let me conduct the interview?
Oh, yes, she will.
Newsroom odds makers.
Okay, I won't say a word. Won't say a word.
All right, well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't even know why you brought her along. Actually, I'm trying to figure out why is she here.
Well, she said I was her second best friend, so I said, all right, I'll you can come. Why New York? What you doing here anyway?
Well, what we wanted to do was to get out on the road and do some shows that were fun for us and that were topical and indigenous to different parts of the country. And New York just mainly because it's the #1 market and it's a good place to start at the top.
Now, I just lost 40 pounds. And when I'm out in a restaurant, people go, you shouldn't eat that. And I think, well, you know, I just live in a little small corner of the world, and your world is the world. And how do you deal with this?
She slaps them. I wished I could. I wished I could, because people can get on your nerves, you know. I was walked into the theater one day, and I hadn't eaten anything all day, because I know what I have to do to keep this weight off. And I walked into the theater, and all day long I said, okay, I'm not going to eat, I'm just going to have popcorn. And I already knew this before I got in, what size it was going to be, and the Diet Coke I was going to have with it. So I walked into the popcorn, and the people sitting next to me said, are you sure you should be eating that? I mean, I just wanted to say, shut up! But I didn't. I said, oh, no, it's quite all right. Everybody said, oh, do you think she's gaining it?
Yeah. There's so much speculation. I mean, what do you do? Tell people to mind their own business?
No, you have to just look at me. You can tell if I have or I haven't. Yeah. You don't want to say, what is the big deal? You can look at me and say. But more importantly, the struggle of keeping it off has been the hardest thing. I mean, I thought losing it was hard. You understand what I'm talking about?
Well, once I got down to my weight, I said, oh, maybe I'm done, and I went on a little binge and paid quickly, and it's so difficult to maintain.
Isn't it an ongoing thing?
Yes, for the rest of our lives, I would assume.
A lot of people don't understand that.
I was in the supermarket checkout last night, and I happened to see the National Enquirer.
Oh, my God.
And
oh, my
this is another, how do you deal with this question? Roseanne Barr.
Oh,
now,
my God.
I read that you two hit it off great. You taped the second hour after you did it.
Which we did.
But now I read in the National Enquirer, and heaven knows if they printed it must be true, that you two had this big blowout because you told her to lose weight, and now she's mad at you. I mean, can we set the score here?
I was so ticked. I was so ticked. I was almost like crying ticked, you know. Like I get really upset, and then the tears come, and then people think, oh, listen, isn't she a woman reacting? But it's just because I'm so mad. I don't know what to do. What gets me is this woman, my friend here. She'll say, but look, it says here that you stood toe to toe with her. In quotes. And then she'll go, but it's in quotes. I said, how many times do I have to tell you they make it up? She goes, but it says here that you have a skirt. Did you say anything to her? I know. I mean, it's just so amazing that they tell the whole thing is a lie.
You mean you believed it?
I didn't believe it, but it just amazed me because it's so comprehensive and in quotes.
Then she'll go and then she'll come in and say, but look, it here says that she had on jeans. Now, did she have on jeans? Yeah. I said, none of it's true.
How do you react to it? You just chuck it in the waste basket?
Well, you know, Gerry, the thing about it is every time I think that I'm prepared to handle it and that it's okay because I'm really growing up and it's all right and it doesn't bother me, something will come along like that that'll really just get me. Now, when it was written that Oprah locked Stedman in a limousine for 6 hours, demands to be married, now that really didn't bother me. There was a time when that would have bothered me, but I thought, this is so ridiculous.
What do people say after they watch? How could anybody say that on national television? People just blurting out things about their innermost private
the most
lives.
recent was the show we did on in-law fight. Oh, my goodness. I mean, Gayle, who watches the show from her treadmill every day, calls me afterwards and said, now listen, she told me a few things I didn't want to hear. It's the truth. I mean, you're in the middle of a conversation and they just start, the woman goes, and you know, Oprah, I had my tooth tied 4 years ago, and my sister-in-law didn't appreciate. You think, your tooth, what's this got to do with what we're talking about?
You ever want to drop the microphone and go, you're on television?
Yeah, no, I wanted to. During the break, now see, that's why I say I've matured. I'm a better interviewer now. Because when I first started, I remember in 1978, when I first started doing talk shows, like the first woman that ever cried on the air, I mean, it was like, she's crying! Great TV! We're on, and she's crying! Great, crying! And now, I'd really rather people didn't expose so much of themselves. So during the break, I went up to the in-laws and I said, now look, I really appreciate your honesty. I really appreciate you all coming on and being so candid, but you know, when you leave this show, you still have a life out there. And so, really, you should just kind of keep to the subject, because what'll happen is you'll go into the Safeway tomorrow, and everybody will know all your business.
Gayle did a pretty good job of keeping quiet, didn't she? She beat all the odds. I got to say, after working with Gayle for about 7 years now, almost, you know, we'd work weekend nights, and she'd be on the phone half the night with her friend in Baltimore, and then, oh, my friend got a job in Chicago, and then, oh, my friend's show's going to be syndicated, and on and on and on to where she is now. The first time I actually ever met Oprah.
I know, that seems strange, because I always think of you as knowing her.
Because she just walked right into the room, and it was like, oh, hey, Gerry. And I go, hey, Oprah, how are you? You know, like, what's new? Nothing, you know, okay. It just seemed like I'd known her for so long and felt very comfortable. She is just as nice as it appears. And the relationship between these two really is incredible, closer than family.
I know, and I was sitting here thinking that you two make a very nice couple. That was very nice. You're right, though. It was very hard to sit there and not say anything at all, because there were a couple times I wanted to say, tell them so and so and so and so. I think it turned out very nice.
Your restraint was excellent.
Thank you. It was tough. Thank you, Gerry Brooks, for helping me out.
Anytime.
Appreciate that. That'll do it for tonight's edition of Eyewitness News at 5, but instead of saying, Gerry, we're out of time, I can tell you right now, Gerry, we're out of time. Gotta go.
Thank you, because among the stories we're working on tonight for Eyewitness News 5:30, a neighborhood group